Definitely more talk about, you know, anything mental, not just physical, which is kind of nice. What's going on, Mickey? Good morning. Did anything happen in America yesterday? I didn't stream yesterday. Did anything? No? Okay. Good morning. I mean, I don't stream for one day and I just see a lot of drama all of a sudden, you know? Like, what happened? Yeah, I feel so too, Shiny. It's good, man. It's good. People are a lot more open about those sorts of things. People are having literal meltdowns. Other than that, somehow we're still alive? Huh. Who would have thought, huh? The best is yet to come. Mm. Okay. I think I'm going to use this as a base coat as well for all of the little rats. There's lots of little rats all over this guy. And we'll have to base coat those. And I have the color out now anyways. These rats are tiny, tiny, tiny though. Don't know about their tails. I feel like their tails have to be a little bit more fleshy. But the actual fur of the rat needs to be this color. Tiny, tiny little hairs. Okay. Little rat. Just coating him. I'm thinking the little rats are gonna have to be like a dark brown and then like maybe like a... maybe like red eyes, something like that. This guy is a prophet of a chaos god after all. You got an ad break on Twitch in French, even though you're not French? Classic. I've heard that happening sometimes in Belgium. We were talking about that recently. Some of the Belgian viewers mentioned that sometimes they see ads for a language they don't speak. Because there's multiple official languages. Which is just a 200 IQ idea for advertising, really. Just advertise for the whole country. Oh, you've never really had ads? This is the first time you've ever seen an ad on Twitch? Interesting, dude. Twitch has been suffocating viewers with ads lately. But did you know that subscribers to my live stream never see ads? That is not the case for every stream. A lot of streamers do still have ads for their subs as well. But subs to my channel don't see ads. Just pointing it out, just throwing it out there. Easiest way to support me, but also to make sure that you never see any advertisements. You're not giving up for just one ad? So you're saying you would have supported the channel more if Twitch was more of a bully and shoved more ads down your throat? Jeff Bezos watching my stream, frantically taking notes. Suffocate them in advertisements. Perfect. Bully the customer. Exactly right. Nah, subbing is always optional, man. All is good. It's a lot of fur, guys. I feel like having fur on your arms like this is very impractical. Like, first off, when this guy takes a shower, it must take ages to dry. Now, I've never had long hair before in my life, but I've heard that that is an issue you run into. Like, this guy has... Yeah, he's furry, for sure. He's wearing a fursuit, Vizzik. That's what he does. It's just, his skin. We have a little bit more on the inside of the arm. My hair takes so long, especially brushing. Yeah. Have you considered just shaving it all off? You would never? Oh. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, you know, that like it sounds like it's a hassle. So if you don't have hair, it's good on Terminator. All right. All good, all good. Okay. You're proud of your beard? Same, dude. You run a comb through it twice when you wake up to make it chill out? Damn, that sounds like a lot of work, Vizzik. It's the toughest part of your day. Maybe you can like dual wield a brush and then also like a toothbrush, you know? Like akimbo your personal care. Girls dig long hair on guys. Is that so? What if a guy has really long hair and it looks more luscious than yours? How does that work? Is it still a good thing then? And she gets jealous? Right. Some of these hairs are very tricky to reach, but they're also pretty much invisible. So I think just having a tiny little bit of a color variety in there is fine and probably good enough. But if I can reach them, I will dab a little bit of paint on there. Okay, not bad. I'm a guy with long hair, trust me, bro. Yeah. I don't think I've ever had my hair longer than it is right now. I actually just booked a haircut appointment though, so does that count? I just made the appointment as the stream was loading, actually. I got a StarCraft tournament to go to soon, you know? Gotta at least look half presentable. That's usually how often I get haircuts. How often I get I get booked for StarCraft events. That is how often I get haircuts. What's going on, Pete? I'll be going to Home Story Cup. Small tournament, relatively speaking, but it's gonna be fun. Always one of the most fun events to go to. Plus, I get to go to beautiful Krefeld again. Everybody loves Krefeld. Most beautiful German city. Yeah, usually there's quite a few drunk Germans there. Maybe next year I go, but it's so far away. It's pretty close for me. It's just over the border to Germany, so it's only maybe like a 2-hour drive. There's people in Germany that have to travel a hell of a lot further. No, I like to drive. There's a lot of people that go and take the train. But I much prefer driving. Especially with the Deutsche Bahn. You never know with the Deutsche Bahn. And oftentimes I kind of like to leave on Sunday night. Like I don't do this every time, but sometimes when I like don't feel too tired, I kind of feel like leaving on Sunday night and sleeping in my own bed. So rather than driving home on Monday, I drive home on Sunday evening. And it's very quiet, you know, like there's no one on the road. So it's a pretty fast drive. Like Monday morning can be a little bit more traffic. I mean, it's never too bad, but it's nice to be able to decide whenever you go, you know? What's good on Banzai? This is Vizzik Skour, Prophet of the Horned Rat. Plenty of range. I never really run into range issues on the car. It's a Warhammer model, yes sir. This is a Warhammer miniature. It is pretty fantastic though. It's excellent, Vizzik, I love it. But it depends on how much you drive, obviously. If you do very long drives all the time, maybe it's not ideal, but electric cars get more and more range as we go on, right? And it's just, I really like it. Like, there's zero reason for me to go back to a regular petrol car, like a gas engine. But you know, it depends on your use case. I know there's some folks in the chat that drive like 300,000 kilometers a year. Maybe not optimal. But most drives we ever do are like within, you know, like maybe 2 hours of driving during a day at most. Like that's like 99% of the drives we ever do. Maybe a little more than that, but you know, you get what I mean. Like it's, most drives are relatively short. And yeah, I really like it, but I know there's a lot of people that are like, no, electric cars, I need to hear petrol. It's also much cheaper over here now because like gas prices are very high. Makes a difference, but I know in some places gas is super cheap, so. There's a lot of charging stations in the Netherlands, yes. There's, like, Tesla superchargers are, you know, every 20 minutes or so. Okay, maybe 30. Depends on where you are, again. But the country is relatively small. So with most electric cars, you would probably have to charge every, like, 3 hours or so. For maybe like a half hour. On the few long trips I've done, I found that it kind of works out. Because you kind of want to take a break anyways for like half an hour. after you've been driving for 3 hours, or at least you probably should be taking a break after driving for 3 hours. I know not everybody does. But in a way, it's kind of a good idea anyways. What's up, Pool J? Welcome, welcome. But I obviously don't have quite a normal work commute and all that, so I have a little bit of a strange situation. You road trip from Washington to Chicago one day, it's about 10 hours of driving and you stop twice. Yeah, it would work out, right? You would drive like 3 hours, stop once, charge up, 3 hours, stop once, charge up. It would kind of work. You could probably do 4 hours. Depends on the car you get, right? But it requires a little bit more planning. Mostly just the first time around though. Because the second time around you kind of trust it more. Like you get this weird range anxiety that's what they call it for electric cars. Like you get this range anxiety where, you know, you're afraid you're not gonna make it and you get stranded. Not really a concern in the Netherlands, but apparently it's a thing in many other countries. Yeah, you still kind of need a car in a lot of places though, unless you don't, like if you never leave a city, like if you just kind of stay in the same city that you are always in, like say you live in like, I don't know, Paris or New York or whatever, then you can probably go without a car. And public transport in the Netherlands is really good too, okay, if you like say like go like maybe occasionally. But I don't think I could live here where I do right now without having a car. It would technically be doable, but it would also be a giant pain in the dick. I think having a car is still kind of nice. Not having a car would require a lot more planning, I guess. But once you kind of know all the train routes, and you know the times at which like the bus stops and all that sort of stuff, it's also pretty easy. That's what I used to do for years. But it was a little bit different back then because I had the student travel, which basically makes public transport quote-unquote free in the Netherlands. But yeah. What's going on, Numenor? Hello. Yeah, a lot of people will just take bicycles in the Netherlands. Very common. What I ended up liking about Japan was that the trains were very easy to learn and you can go to the whole provinces with just trains. Taxis are very expensive in the Netherlands too, yes. But nobody really takes taxis. Like, it happens, but like, it's not a common mode of transportation, you know? Like, people might take a taxi in the Netherlands for very specific things. Say you need to go to like the airport or something, but even then, most people, like I always take public transport to the airport because it's much easier, significantly cheaper. If I take it's like a 45-minute drive or whatever. Nah, less than that. It's probably like a 35-minute drive to Amsterdam airport, and it's probably like 80, maybe 100 euro. It's too much fucking money, man. Like, I can't be bothered with that. I guess a lot of folks that take taxis regularly in the Netherlands are people that can invoice it to their, you know, company. They can just expense it. That's a different story again, right? But I would imagine it's a lot of business customers. But for normies, not a lot of people taking taxis. I feel like taxis are, in some places it's pretty good though. If someone was to tour the Netherlands and didn't want to go to the Amsterdam festivities, where would I recommend they go? Ooh, I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't, like, there's a lot of, like, it depends what you want to do, right? There's a lot of, like, museums all over the Netherlands, for example, but there's just, yeah. I find the Netherlands not really a very touristy country in the first place, but a lot of people disagree. You're planning a 2-week vacation to Japan? Okay. Nice. Dude, the vast majority of taxis I see these days over here, Pete, are Teslas. Like Tesla's Model Y and Model X, like the big boys. That is, like, that's like 80% of the taxis I see around Schiphol in particular, like around the Amsterdam airport. Apparently this is a real issue for some people that drive, you know, a Tesla themselves. Because, like, the superchargers are always taken by taxi drivers. Because of the fact that it's so much cheaper. Yeah, apparently it becomes a problem. Because they just idle there, you know? Like, when they're waiting for another ride, they would just always go to a supercharger and just idle there, waiting. I don't know. I haven't... I don't really know exactly what the solution for that would be, but apparently that's a real issue in some places. We have a lot of little rats, guys. A lot of tiny rats over here. Obviously, the shoulder coat is going to be a different color, so we can be a little bit messy. Yeah, that's true, not much. So the Tesla superchargers are really nice, but they take a long time to charge the like 80 to 100% mark. So like once you go above a certain percentage, it slows down considerably. So from what I understand, they can sit there for like an hour before it charges to 100%. Whereas like most of the superchargers are designed for people to hang out there for like no more than 30 minutes. But people, if you have to wait for an additional 30 minutes, you may as well plug it in and drive or you know, power it up to 100%. Which wastes everybody's time, but yeah. I don't know, I saw some folks complaining about it on the internet, so it must be true. Because you can't lie on the internet, everybody knows. You didn't know you couldn't lie on the internet? Oh. I've been seeing a lot of BYD cars over here, the Chinese electric car manufacturer. So they recently came to the Netherlands, like very recent. And I've been seeing them pop up left, right, and center. Like once you start paying attention to them, they are, I feel like they're everywhere suddenly. Like they've gone for sale only like, I think in the last 12 months. But, not even entirely clear if they're going to be able to stay within the European Union. But apparently they have taken the gamble. Yeah, they are going to take over the electric car market at this rate, unless the governments will step in and make some changes, because apparently, especially all the French and the German car manufacturers are very unhappy about it all, because they can deliver better performance for the price than anybody else. Which sounds like a great free market situation, But those companies have a fuck ton of lobbying power. So I would imagine at some point something's going to change, but... Lowko, you better keep an eye on that model. It will backstab you. It's a Skaven. Yeah. I think it's probably going to be safe to put in the room, though. But I have heard that Skavens aren't necessarily the nicest. SUVs are becoming more and more popular over here, too. Yes. It's dumb. Like, it used to not be too popular because of the fact that gas is very expensive. But now that electric cars are becoming so, you know, commonplace, and charging is much cheaper in general than gas, cars are certainly scaling up over here too, man. I don't know if that's the only reasoning, but it seems like on the whole, I see a lot of those like big Audis and stuff. Like when you pay attention to a certain car, it feels like they pop up everywhere. But I was thinking the same thing about those large Audis, those electric ones. I'm not sure what they're called. But I've noticed a fuck ton of those lately. And they're very expensive. I don't really know how people afford cars like that, but... they seem to be very common right now. Or at least becoming more and more common. There's a whole nest of little rats underneath the horns. This is why we paint them first, before the horns. Even though I've done a base coat on the horns so far. We want to be able to do the trickiest to reach areas first, to hopefully minimize the amount of smudging that we get.
Been slammed at work, so can't hang
Yo!
out. Take care and don't forget to smile. Cheers.
Hey, thank you very much, bro.
Underscore, tumbler glass, underscore.
Have a good day at work. Take care. Thank you. Underscore. Maybe the big rat is chill and the little rats are the problem? You might be onto something, dude. I'm just a little afraid I will miss one of the little rats. So there's one over here, two over there. Does anybody still see a little rat, other than the ones on the base, that I haven't coded? This is a team effort, chat. I think we're good. I think we're good. I guess I was thinking about that actually, Pete. It seems like all my favorite Warhammer models are the ones that look like Dark Souls bosses. Maybe we should have some From Software miniatures, you know? Maybe they could jump into the miniature market, because they must have some incredibly detailed sculpts, just for the games that they have made. A lot of them would fit right in, man. They could get into tabletop for sure. Make Dark Souls in the Warhammer universe? Bro, I would love that. That would be incredible. A little bit of a partnership, much like the Lord of the Rings partnership. Like some of them, like the Usharon. Usharon is like a straight Dark Souls boss. I painted him earlier this year, and that guy is a straight Dark Souls boss. Let me go grab him. I can show you what I mean. Tell me that this guy doesn't look like a Dark Souls boss, okay? Or Bloodborne. Or Elden Ring. This guy looks like one of those big-ass dudes that walks around and hits you in the head with a mace. He's slow, so you can probably roll out of his... I would try to fight this guy close to his feet, you know? Like, this looks like a guy that has a very bad minimum range. So you can probably dodge most of his early game slams. Yeah. Looks exactly like a Dark Souls boss. He's not slow, he's a vampire? Yeah, I guess he's a vampire in the Warhammer lore, huh? Yeah. I don't really know much about the Warhammer lore, but... Okay, we'll have to do a little bit of a second pass on some of the parts that we have painted, I think, or at least have a look around. Make sure that we have painted in all of the little details that we want to be covering with this base coat. Can I go like this? I'm underneath the... This is... Yeah, okay. We have to be a little bit creative sometimes. There we go. They're vampires that have gone insane, so they believe they're still human knights and kings, and charge into battle with honor? Oh shit, that's actually kind of cool. I did not know that. How do you guys know shit about the Age of Sigmar world? I was looking into some of the books, but I feel like the books are significantly less popular than the Warhammer 40k books. Is this mostly from the video games? Because I've been trying to figure out how... I know there are books, lots of them. I just haven't gotten around to them yet, but in general, like when I was doing book research for which books to check out in Warhammer, it feels like nobody recommends the Warhammer Age of Sigmar stuff. Or maybe Warhammer Fantasy from the olden days, but... Well, to be fair, I didn't have to glue on these little tiny rats. They were optional, but... I feel like they weren't optional. I feel like they were an absolute necessity. Actually, I think like these little rats are actually really effective though at like creating scale, right? Because that's a fully grown rat. And this guy is supposed to be an absolute, you know... This guy is a monster. I feel like the little guys are very effective at portraying scale. Black Library writes mostly 40k. Right. I'm a Warhammer guy, I know the lore of AOS, but AOS stuff is not as fun as the fantasy lore. Okay. I've been reading all of the Warhammer 30k stuff. So Age of Darkness, I guess? Anyways, the 30k stuff from the Horus Heresy. I've been loving those books, but I noticed in general people don't seem to talk as much about the lore of Age of Sigmar. But I know they have some Age of Sigmar games, so... You would remember, or you would recommend the Gotrek and Felix Omnibus as a good introduction? Okay. That sounds like Asterix and Obelix. What was this? Did one of the guys fall into a magical cauldron when they were little? Gotrek and Felix. Okay. I have many books to read right now, but those are very recognizable names. Well, I think they restarted like a decade ago or so with Warhammer Fantasy. So Warhammer Fantasy is effectively dead, and it's now called Age of Sigmar instead. They changed a lot of the rules, and apparently it's less like less like Lord of the Ringy, more of its own thing. What's up, Cedric? But yeah, Warhammer lore is very dense. Total War is keeping Warhammer Fantasy alive though. Fair. Warhammer Fantasy is back. It's now called the Old World. AOS is its own universe. Ah, okay, is that what it is? I don't really know how the Old World works. I have no clue. I know they have square bases, dude. Very cursed. Their miniatures have square bases. I don't know if I can get used to any of that. Sometimes this kind of feels like I'm playing snooker or pool, you know? Like we're kind of like guiding our brush along the side of the table. Okay. Don't worry, it's a mess, but it's fun. Okay. Yeah, it does feel a little bit confusing. So what I want to do is I want to try and get really ugly looking nails. So we'll let the tan color dry for a little while before we add a second coat over all of this. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. So I'm thinking about using a little bit of like light tone. I'll probably mix it down a tad, but I wanna, let me just open up the reference images real quick. What's it called again? Vizzik Skour, Prophet of the Horned Rat. Vizzik Skour, Warhammer. Skaven are my fantasy race in Warhammer. I love them. Closely followed by the Lizardmen. Honestly, I just like individual miniatures. Okay, why can I not find it, dude? I find all kinds of other results, but... Vizzik. Yeah, so he has very yellowed fingers in the box art, which I think looks gross. I want to try and replicate it. Let's see. We need a little bit of this stuff. Gotta shake it. Okay. This is a wash. A little bit nasty. So we want to bring this up to about the middle knuckle-ish, I think. Something like that. I may do a couple of coats of this. I think I'll try and dilute it down just a tad with some water. So this is gonna go over all of the nail. May take a couple of coats, by the way. all of the nail until right about right over here. I'll wash the brush, dry it, and I'll try to feather it out a little bit. By soaking up some of the excess and dabbing it along a bit. A little hard to see, but we have a little bit more grossness here. And we'll wait until that's dry before we do another coat. Should be good. I think I'll do both of these in one go, because they're close to each other. Some nice yellowed fingers. I may bring the next coat up a little bit further actually, but we'll have to wait until this is fully dried. Everybody likes yellowed fingers, okay? Women love guys that have really dirty, ugly nails. Because it shows that you like to get dirty, Chet. And it shows that you're not afraid to, you know, do manual labor and all that. So I recommend never cutting your nails. Don't even take showers. If there's one thing that women love, it's crusty nails. Crusty and dirty with like weeks old mud underneath. I know you guys joined my stream for dating advice, so I figured I should give the people what they need. I think you're wrong, Lowko. What? You just had a shower? Oh, come on, man. Haven't I taught you anything? Okay. I want this guy to look like he's been smoking for years, but never washed his hands. AKA the ultimate look. You're still learning, keep the advice coming. No worries, dude. I will keep it coming. Any advice on a Japanese girl when my long-term plan is to move there and end up being assigned to work in the far-off rural areas? What? First of all, make sure you have good internet speed, okay? Forget the girl. What's the point of anything if you don't have good internet? So make sure to get that sorted out first. If you're out in a rural area, make sure your internet connection is good. Because otherwise, how are you gonna, you know, do anything? How are you gonna watch your anime? See, Brusuk is desperately waiting until he can go back to the States so he can have good internet again. He came up with this elaborate excuse about, you know, seeing friends and family and all that again, but that's not really it. No worries, Brusuk. Your secret is safe. You think you have the worst internet in the chat? Ooh, interesting flex. Okay, we gotta do some, we gotta wait until this code is dry, by the way, before we do another code. I need to do a little bit of darkness. Where is my wildwood? It's over here. We'll have to give this a good little vibration. Here we go, gamers. Out of way, flip it upside down. Just like that. Perfect. Welcome, Vizzik. Gonna use a little bit of Lamian medium. Probably like a 2-2-1, because this is a rather strong color. Maybe even more than that, to be honest. I prefer having a brighter color or like a less strong color first. You have to kind of judge it from the palette, I guess. So this is gonna go on top of all that fur that I just painted. I think this is fine. This is gonna go onto the beard, for example. This is gonna settle in the recesses. That's the idea of the Lamian medium. The Lamian medium makes the paint very runny. Which is good in this instance. So we can have a lot of nice shadow here. I wonder if this is a little bit too runny though. I think I'm gonna grab another brush full of this stuff. We'll wash the brush. And then soak up some of the excess in the places where it's pooled a bit too much. So I don't want it to be too extreme. I'd rather do a second coat. As a matter of fact, I will do a second coat. All right. So far, so good. Let's start on the knee as well. It's gonna add a lot of detail. We'll be a little bit careful near the edges. So this is about a 3-2-1, I think. A little less on Wildwood to Lamia medium. Nice little furry knee. It's good. We're painting him, Lowko? We are painting him. It's actually going really nicely. I'm trying to be precise. I'm not trying to be fast. I'm trying to be exact. Which does make quite a difference. Some of this area, though, is going to need some manual highlighting here. That's going to take a while. We're getting there. Slow and steady wins the race. Bob Ross is super fast, bro. Like, the Bob Ross episodes are actually real time, right? Like, the man's painting masterpieces in 30 minutes, dude. Bob Ross would have finished 3 canvases by the time that I, you know, full send. I need to step up my painting speed? Nah.